In few places on Earth is man's presence on the environment more strongly felt than in the delta of East Arkansas. Where once was one of the world's largest wetlands has now been replaced almost completely with rice and soybean fields, with occasional towns scattered throughout. Little reminders of what was still exist, with occasional remnant stands of cypress forests and cattails still existing in the land that flooded too much to be agriculturally profitable. But omnipresent outside of these little pockets of nature, there is an air of sameness. Flat, never-ending fields, surrounded on all sides by deep ditches, growing some monoculture crop that will eventually get shipped halfway across the world. In my hometown of Wynne, all this exists, but add to the picture a number of major industrial uses and all its corresponding problems, brought about by the crossroads of the rail lines at the dead heart of my home. The first place you'll notice this is the 11-story grain silo at the entrance of Wynne. Over 60 feet taller than the next tallest building in town, this structure towers over the city, reminding residents of the millions of acres of farmland surrounding them, in case they could somehow forget. Much like the farmland found outside the city, almost all the land inside the city is a monoculture too, just of turfgrass instead. In many parts of town, people pay thousands of dollars a year to have their lawns mown, weed-eated, and covered in herbicide, but in Wynne's city parks, grass is often cut so low as to kill it completely. This leaves the soil bare and dry, ready to be eroded away by the wind or rain, whichever comes first. An otherwise beautiful space can be easily sullied if you just look in the wrong place. At John Hayden Smith Park, the awesome play equipment and swing set draw the most attention, but immediately to the north is an extremely eroded creek bed, which also serves as a conduit for all road runoff from the nearby highway. While the creek certainly has the potential for beauty, its current condition, full of riprap and litter with invasive plants overtaking the stream side, ruins a great opportunity to teach local residents about the importance of riparian ecosystems. The Cross County Courthouse complex is another huge missed opportunity. Where many other places would have their courthouse within a tree-covered square, Cross County's courthouse is drowning in asphalt, with a parking lot that dwarfs the building itself. There are also no trees, awnings, or arcades to be found, so visitors have no reprieve from the hot summer sun. The urban heat island effect is so strong here that visitors often come back to their cars to find that part of their tires have melted off. Finally, across the street from my house, a new development is going in where there used to be a contiguous forest. The whole site has been stripped clear of all trees and aggressively flattened, with significant drop-offs on all sides. The soil here has been left bare and dried white from its usual almost black color. Where before the ground was soft underfoot, it is now hard and cracked. The site is quickly eroding with significant washouts on almost every side, and the only life left now is poke salad, some wild grasses, and the occasional scavenging raccoon or possum. There is, of course, hope for a better future. A recent project downtown created vegetated bump-outs on all of the street sides and filled them with Arkansas native plants like purple coneflower, swamp milkweed, tulip poplar trees, and American serviceberry. While this pales in comparison to what was lost, putting native plants back into the heart of my hometown has turned a lot of heads and is slowly changing the minds of my neighbors. In a journal entry from January 3rd, 1861, the great American poet Henry David Thoreau once said, "Thank God, man cannot as yet fly, and lay waste the sky as well as the earth." Thoreau was very wise to use the word yet, as just 42 years later, the Wright brothers would perform the world's first human flight at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. Less than 8 years later, the first planes of war would be used in the Italo-Turkish War, and a short 34 years later, B-29 bombers dropped the atomic bomb on the people of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, killing over 120,000 people instantly, over 80% of which were civilians. Unfortunately for us, the world is what we make of it. We can begin living sustainably and take care of our only home, or we can choose to keep blowing it to hell. Where we go from here is up to us.